Good morning, everyone, or for those of you that have decided to join me this morning. My name is Lori, and I am your Doing It Scared teacher workshop, so to speak. If this is your first time joining, welcome. Leave a comment for me just so I can see. For those of you that are returning and those that are new, of course, I am by myself. So if you do leave a comment, I will have to look at them after the tutorial is done. So again, welcome. Today we're going to be working on what I call little inspiration cards. And this is something that I came up with. I believe I showed you. These are the first ones I made with you guys here. So I'm going to come up with another pack. And this one's going to be based more neon style. I do apologize, guys. I'm not feeling my best. It's been a rough couple of days, but we're going to go ahead and get started on this. I don't know that I will finish it. So anyway, welcome, and I hope you enjoy our time together. So let me go ahead and switch the camera. Okay, and that looks like it's good. So, colors that we're going to be using today, these are neons. So I have this Deco Art neon, the black light. So these will be like, if you're in a dark room, you shine a ultraviolet light on them, they're going to kind of glow. But I'm not using just neons. I'm going to be using some of my regular colors too. So I'll try to give you the names of the colors as I go. The neon, this came in a pack of 6 colors. And the reason why I said I'm not just going to use the neons is I feel like there's not a lot of shade diversity with these. So I'm going to want to supplement, right? Anyway, I wanted the neon pop. It takes me back to the 80s. This is going to be a fun set of encouragement, kindness cards, whatever I end up calling them in the finished product. As you will see, I've kind of gone ahead. I prepped my surface. I see some lines. What I did was I used a pencil and I traced out what I need, and then I went over it with a black fine tip Posca because I want to put a base color of neons on these, and I need to be able to see what my idea was. If this was just one canvas and I was just doing like this pseudo palm tree, it would not be a problem, right? Because that's the only thing on there. But I need to remember what I have on all squares, and I found some pencil marks. So I am using watercolor paper for this. It's a good heavy body, so it will it's not gonna warp or any of that. But again, I wouldn't want to use just like copy paper because it would lose its firmness really quickly. So let me start by putting some of these neon colors on my paint palette. You can see I have a cream color there now. I was working on something a minute ago. This way you guys can get a good idea of the brightness of these shades. This is funny because this is the neon and this is the magenta. The colors are very similar. Come on. Got it a little bit closer to that orange than I want. Now these colors, where a lot of times you'll see where I will let things mix and such, with the neons, I don't think I want to do that. I want to keep them their own. So we will see what kind of backgrounds I decide to come up with. While I have the design in mind and traced out, I don't have any rhyme or reason thought up about what these the backgrounds of these are going to look like. So trial and error, and you're right here with me for that. The one thing I will say with a background is there is one I know pretty much what I'm doing, and that's what these lines are for. So we're going to start there. You're going to see that I'm going to probably jump around based on what actually inspiration hits me. But I know this right here was because I wanted brush strokes. So I'm going to start with my large brush because I really do. I want some of that, that edge. And yeah, so the lines are telling me which way I'm going to be painting these edges on there. Okay. Obviously, these are going to show through. You're going to see some of the paper, and that's fine. So I'm going to move on. Let's see. Let's do some orange with it. And I'm going to continue just strokes, so to speak. Nothing that's going to be too pre-arranged. Okay. And now let's put in some green. Let's do it this way. And so, as you can see, we kind of have a little block design. Now, I'm going to move away from that and let that dry. And then come back to it with whatever I decide to put in there at this point. That might just be a color, just a choice of colors, not really defining anything. Also, I forgot, so last time you saw me, I had stickers and I put them on and they weren't backed with paper. So here are some of the quotes I'm going to be using today. And I've gone ahead and I've stuck them to watercolor paper so that when they go on, we don't lose the words. So that was a suggestion I got from several people. I don't know which rhyme or reason or which one's going to have which quote, but there they are. This one I played with and I kind of outlined with a red. So I can either go over that or honestly, if I wanted to, I could scrape that off, but I don't know, we'll see how it all fits together. Okay. All right, so now I need to work on the background. This one right here, I know I want kind of a sunset look. So I am going to start with blue and I'm going to pull it like here because this is going to be like the water, right, overlooking. And then I'm going to go ahead and phase into, like I said, a sunset. So I'm going to start with, I've got my tiny brush with the yellow. I really want to just kind of, I don't know that this is going to stay like a circle for a sun or more like I will probably be blending around it. So there's that. Now I'm going to go around the outside. Some of the orange. And again, you guys, part of doing it scared here is I haven't done this before. These are all new things that I'm trying to see how it works out. Okay, now that I've kind of got that sun outlined, now I can use my bigger brush. And I'm going to just spread out. You can see a little bit of the blue got there. That's okay. Let's see. Okay. Letting all of that just kind of go together. Now I am going to, as we know, sunsets sometimes get that glow. So I'm going to use a little pink. Through here, that, and then a little purple, and let's go back with a little bit of orange. So I'm just going back and forth. Unlike a canvas, the watercolor paper does absorb some of the paint right away. So if you want to blend, you gotta kind of do it quickly because it will grab. And I've gone off to the side there. That's okay, I've decided. Let's do a little bit more yellow here. to use my little brush. I'm just adding some yellow going out, kind of like if we did sun rays, but I'm going to go over that and fill that a little bit with orange. I want that blended look. And then I'll come down here and work on the water. I may be doing, adding in some things like gluing or pasting. I don't think with this I'm going to do any dried flowers or anything like that. Sometimes I have stickers and whatnot that I add. I don't think that's going to happen with these neons. I just think it would be too much. And so I'm going around with the orange. So yesterday I caught my husband going in, and when I walked in the bedroom, he had been watching some of these Doing It Scared on the big screen TV. Guys, that is not okay. I'm adding a little bit more yellow in there. I do not like to see myself. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not like being in front of crowds. So this is one of the reasons why I called this Doing It Scared, is because I'm doing it even though I cringe at the idea of a video being out there of me doing this. So, and the hope is maybe it will inspire some of you to try something different out of your comfort zone. Okay. I'm just doing little brush strokes here. Again, as it smooths out, it's not going to be as, what do you call it, defined. And that's kind of how the sunset is, right? We don't always see a definitive line between the colors. Okay, think I'm liking that now. What's crazy is I moved back here almost 4 years ago, and I don't even think I've been to the beach since I've been back, and I love the beach. My husband and I talked about this the other day. Like, we moved here and I haven't even gone to the beach. All right, so I'm going to layer, I like that. I'm going to layer a little bit more blue down here because I want it to get a little bit deeper in color. I'm going to add just a little bit of the purple. And go ahead and get that depth in there. So I'm just spreading in a little purple, and then I'm going to blend it again with some more blue, just to kind of give it some depth. And now that I'm going to have more time to blend because I put these base coats down. So now it's kind of filling up that paper. The last thing that we're going to do on this is the actual palm tree. We're going to do that in a black, kind of like a silhouette, but I'm going to wait for all of this to settle and dry. So we'll be moving on to another square. I do want a little bit more depth in the water area, so I'm going to take some of my midnight blue and mix just a little bit in there. I did not start this process thinking I'm only going to be using neon paints. I'm using neons for the brightness, but I know that I will be probably adding in some. And actually this dark blue may end up being my, what do you call it? Palm tree. If you've been around, you know I love this navy blue color. Okay, I'm kind of fanning it out. Again, I'm just wanting to add some depth. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Yeah, I just realized I didn't eat my morning breakfast. So if you hear my tummy grumble, sorry. I apologize. All right, there we go. There. All right, now I'm going to move over to this one. You can see I had a little pink seep over. Didn't intend that, but that's okay. This one, I'm going to make these into daisies. So it's rather than trying to do a, what do you call it? Sunset or something more precise. I'm literally going to just start adding in some color. Now, for this one, I'm going to use a medium brush because I want strokes. I'm going to be doing, again, neon, and I'm just going to be doing strokes up and down. And I'll start with pink. There we go. And I'll go ahead and add some pinks throughout. And again, I have no rhyme or reason. There's nothing preconceived. I'm just kind of putting colors where I like them. I do want to keep it kind of soft. So now I'm picking up the neon purple, or magenta, if you will. And you can see that those black lines there that I put aside. Okay. Now I'm going to use some blue, and I don't know that I'm going to use the other bright colors. I think it's just going to be pink, purple, and blue. So yes, I'm a little bit heavier on the blue. I'm gonna add in some more purple. I'm really liking the way this is kind of coming together. Do need some over here because otherwise it looks like I just kind of forgot it. There we go. And all right, I got the background done for this one. I do like how it's coming together. This one is going to be basically just some vines going through there. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do a blue background, kind of like it's next to a pond. We'll just kind of see how that goes. I think I'm just going to use the blue and the purple. And I'll probably use a little bit of that dark blue too, because I want to give it some depth. And I do like the way all of these came together. So we're getting there. All right, how do I want to do this? All right. I want to kind of do, I'm going to do rings. Yeah, I like that. Just alternating, and then it will create its own purple color. And the mixtures there. So far, fun. So good. So you can see where this just looks like rings. I'm kind of thinking of this as a puddle and like, you know, something dropped there. Okay, and I like that. I didn't use any of the dark blue. I may change my mind and do it after it dries a little, but I really think I like the way this is going right here. So I'm gonna just leave that. All right, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So in this one, this looks like a big S. This is going to become a flamingo. Again, these are going to be larger flowers. I have a pansy and a butterfly. So now let's think about what I want to do with those. I think we're going to go with, I always tend to gravitate towards blue, y'all. I'm sorry, it's just me. So I'm going to get a little bit more blue and purple on my palette. Nope, that's pink. Got plenty of pink. And I'm gonna stick with this blue and purple like I just did because, come on, our flamingo is gonna be the neon pink. So I definitely want it to stand out. And as you can see here, the neon pink looks really great against the purple and the blue. Let's see. I don't want to do the same thing that I did there. I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. Because I know that I want this pink. I'm just trying to decide if I want something like that or more like this, the bottom of the sunset palm. So I'm going to move on to this one. And this one is going to be, let's do the purple, the pink, and the orange. And where I did up and down, I'm going to do a cross. I'll start with pink like I did before. Coming out the sides. And some purple. And you can see these black light colors are thinner. So if I really need a more opaque look, then I'm going to have to do a couple of coats. But because of the project that I'm working on here, I'm okay with that being more see-through. Because I kind of like the bleed that it gives. And all right, now let's add some orange. Ooh, that pops. And then we'll do some blending because I think I'm going to need to blend a little bit. kind of reminds me of tie-dye. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I'm gonna add a little yellow here and there. There's some, I like how the orange and the pink's mixing. Hold on, so maybe I won't. Gotta make sure I get color on those edges. I was thinking about for a second putting some yellow in there, but I don't think so now. Trying to make sure I get these corners on the side. Remember, once we take this washi tape off, it's going to give a really cool, clean look. And then we cut the cards out. Okay, let's do a little here. So let me know what you all think of with the neons, if you like them or if you don't like them. Right now I haven't made up my mind completely. And I'm seeing time's getting by us quickly again. So we have 30 minutes left. So I will be shocked if I'm able to complete all of this project in that time. So as usual, I will put a photo of the finished product in the event discussion. All right. I do like that. I do feel like the purple is a little bold, but I'm going to let it be because I'm bold every once in a while. Okay. Now we're over to the pansy. I am going to use, I gotta mix myself up a little bit. Let's do the green, the orange, and the yellow like I had here. And I'm gonna do, again, I think, I'm not gonna do stripes. I think I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do another one like this. That's what I'm gonna do. Where we're just, what do you call it? Doing rings and orange. One more yellow. I don't know about y'all, but I'm having a hard time believing it's already March. I'm really happy to be done with February because for me it was cold, even though I am in Florida and you guys get much colder temperatures than me most of the time. I do not like the cold, but man, this year's already flying by. And you saw I just did some swirls. I like to do little swirlies. And let's do yellow. And then I'll go and do some blending. Okay. There we go. So that looks kind of like I want it. Pretty good. This one, I love the way that this looks. So I think this is just going to be blue and purple. And then I'll be adding in some of that dark blue too. In fact, I'm going to put the dark blue here first, and I'm going to move up and down with the other colors a little bit more. If y'all have been with me before, you know that this midnight blue is my absolute favorite. I absolutely love it. Usually I'm putting a little turquoise in because I love that turquoise color as well. And let's go with the blue next, and then we'll go into the purple. And you can see when I did these strokes of this, the dark blue here, how it has more opacity. It's more opaque than what the neons are. So that's why the neons are going to need a couple of coats if I want them to really look dark. Let's go in with some purple. And again, like I said, this is going to be a flamingo on top of all this. Notice I'm not really using a lot of that dark color for the rest of it. I'm going to be splicing in some stuff in just a moment. Just want to make sure I got those edges. Just going to put a little of this on top, and it's going to start to give that little bit of a, there we go. I'm liking that. So I'm going to add a little bit here, a little bit here, here. And I like the way that neon blue mixes in. So I'm just going to go back and forth, create a little bit of darkness here and there. And that darkness is going to look really cool once we start doing this bright flamingo on top. Let's see those colors. Oh, they're coming together so pretty. And let's do a little purple. Oop, yep, that's purple. Purple and pink kind of are very similar unless you mix some, get it with some blue in there. All right, I think we're gonna let that dry. And now the last one I have here is the butterfly. And with the butterfly, actually I'm looking at, hold on. I'm looking at my sunset here, and I'm gonna add just a little. I just added a little yellow to soften some of that. So I think with the butterfly, it's just going to be pink and purple. I'm going to start by just doing a big swirly in the middle with the purple. And pick up some pink. Blend it out. Purple again. And picking up some pink and blending it. I like to do the circle thing because I think it really helps everything radiate. All right. All right, so we have all of our major colors done, except I'm seeing here, I think I'm going to put some, I'm going to add just a little pink, like this, where I did not get some white, and it's just going to add another layer of fun. And doing it, since this is dried, again, right over the lines, I think. And there we go. That's just going to be a bunch of colors. It's not going to be a whole lot more being added to that. Get a drink real quick. Thank you for that little break. So now I'm going to work on, we're going to start right here with the palm tree. And normally I use black, but on the palm tree, I like that dark blue. I really like how that's coming in, that midnight. So we're going to use that. If I don't like it, we will just go over it again with black. So I'm using my small brush. And the first thing I'm doing is this first stroke is basically the palm tree trunk. Okay. Now, it's a silhouette. There isn't much else I'm going to add to it at all. Now I'm going to work on the palm fronds. I'm going to start by creating my little circle there. That helps me position what I need to. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with putting the dark blue on the tracing. Now you may think it looks like a spider. That's what I always think when I create my palm trees like this. But wait till we start putting the palm fronds on and you will see some magic happen. I could actually use even a smaller brush, but I don't have one, so I use what I have. A smaller brush would give me more delicate lines. All right, so I have everything spaced out. Now to make the palm fronds, I'm going to start up here where it's a little bit easier for you guys. Or I'm going to right here. So literally I'm just going off the sides like this. I'm making basically a C coming off the palm. I can do a few on the other side. Okay, and that's palm frond number 1. I will be adding some highlight in here. And it will not, probably, I don't know, I may see if the neon will let me do that, but we're gonna need to let the blue dry all the way. So for these lower ones, you might put a few out here. There really isn't a right or wrong way to do this. The only thing is, if you do too much in one spot, like over and over, you're gonna lose your actual look of the palm fronds. And again, nothing has to be like so perfect. Take some from over here. I like These are always the easy ones, the top ones. I just seem to, I can set the main ones and then go in and add some little longer fronds. Our beautiful palm trees. One of the things I absolutely adore about Florida. I love palm trees. They're just, I don't know why. They're pretty. They don't give you much shade. Can't, you know, you're not going to get a lot of shade from them, but I do love them. So I hope you see how easy this one is. And I promise you, if you try to be more detailed, for me anyway, I end up with a hot looking mess. So I just let it kind of shape itself. Let's see. And if I wanted to, I could add a couple of coconuts up there, but at this point in time, I don't really, not concerned. So, except for some highlighting and detail, this first one is done. And so, when it dries, this is going to have a saying. So I'll probably be putting this like right here and gluing it on there. And then it's just an encouragement card. So my idea with all of these is that they're just little cards that say awesome things that you can give to someone who maybe is having a hard time, or celebrate with somebody who's having a great time. I'm going in and putting my circles. These are going to be daisies. Yeah, and so you just a little tweak, you know, sometimes you see somebody's having a hard time, you can give them a hug or whatnot, but it may not be appropriate also, like at work. But you want them to know you're thinking of them, so you can just leave one of these little cards. All right, so I am going to be using an off-white for the daisy petals. Okay, I'm going to get me a little bit more. Once I get the daisy petals done, then I will add in where you can see the black that I have. That's where the stems are. I'm going to do that after I have made the daisy petals. We might get this one finished by the end of time. Okay, so for my daisies, I'm not making like really large daisies by any means. And it's really kind of doing the same thing that you did with the palm fronds, only you're doing it from the center of these flowers. Now, what would be fun is if you do use a black light with this, not only are your neons going to glow, but this off-white. So I didn't do stark white because on the card itself, I think it looks better with an off creamy white. And I also think once we get a black light there. So you'll see that my center has kind of disappeared. That's okay. I'm making petals. You can see it's giving it some tones and highlights, but I will go back when I'm done and just dab in a circle in there. So yeah, I said these are daisies. These are more just like will-o-wisps, and that's okay. I am working with a small canvas, so to speak, so it can't be too much. 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes left. Used to be detail work like this. Used to drive me insane. Now, look at, I'm doing it on purpose because I like it. Okay, I'm going to move to the next one. Notice I'm starting from the top. And that's because I want these to overlap the ones because it's sitting in front. So you'll start to see some strokes overlap with this one up here, and that's okay. I'm a little surprised that I'm really liking how this is coming out. Sometimes, as you know, if you've been here, I do something, it just does not work. But that's part of doing it scared, trying something for the first time and letting it all just be out there in the universe. I'm really liking this vintage white color against this background. And I like how some of that base of that blue is blending in as I make some of these strokes. It's one of those happy little accidents that I didn't expect. All right, next one. All right, 2 more to go on this. So once I get these petals on, I'm going to let them dry, and then I'll use that dark blue again, midnight blue, for a center and stem. I could do it now, but I want to move over to the vines before we go so I can show you kind of how that's going to work, because I know right now they're just wavy lines. Okay, so with these vines, I'm going to be using the dark blue, and I'm going to be doing it like a silhouette like that. So the first thing is going to be to get the main line down. And like I mentioned, these are going to be vines. So I'm going to be adding, you know, green, what would be greenery or leaves coming off these vines. The fun part is the brush, the paint pretty much do the work for you. I am going to be using the detail brush, and I'm going to use the medium brush. I'm going to start with the medium brush and show you just how easy it is to do these. So basically, I dab my brush, I've got it pointed, and I'm just going to press just like that. So I am going to be moving this around, and this creates your vine. You can make your vine petals large, you can make them small. If I want them larger, I just lay more of the brush down. So that's for that one. I'm going to show you now on this. I also do kind of the same thing, but I'm doing more of like a half circle. And it just kind of creates this whole vine look. You can see there. So they look very different. I can do the same thing with the little brush, which I'll do here, and just do the press, tap, and it's a little bit smaller. So anyway, those are the 3 different ways I'm going to be working on these vines. Personally, this vine, the line for the vine should have been a little skinnier for these little ones, but it's okay. And yes, I believe anybody can do this because it's just like you're just tapping the brush on the paper. Takes a minute to get the right angle, but you'll eventually get that figured out without a problem. And then it's just easy. So we've got them. Well, they're more than halfway done, but we got them more than halfway done before the end of the hour. And let's see. So it is 11:53. I'm going to finish this vine, and I'm going to turn the camera around and tell you all to have a great day, because I'm going to finish the rest of this off camera. But you can see there how it becomes a vine, and I'm going to be using the large one next. So let me go back and turn everything around. All right, so thank you so much. I want y'all to have a great time. Thanks for joining me with Doing It Scared, and I hope to see you get back here next Wednesday. Bye-bye.